Hi, IndigoMoon Aussies. Today is Tuesday, November 22nd, and the puppies are 10 days old. And we just moved Mama. Beyonce just got done feeding them, and she's in the bedroom and the little kennel we have in the bedroom. So I was going to pick up all the puppies. As you can see, they're all sleeping, and introduce everybody. So let me get... This is a Teo. He's a male, and as you can see, his show side is just like Rico in the front. He has a little bit above a white sock, and then his non-show side, he has a full white leg. He has a lot of white in the face, a little bit more in the face than Rico. I'm going to turn him around. He has a nice full white show collar. He's got a beautiful head. He's got great balance for a puppy, beautiful legs, not tiny little teeny tiny legs. His rear legs match, and the copper on these puppies, when they're young, the copper is hard to see, but he's got dark copper, and it's really coming in. He's yawning. And their noses are already filling in. But I like to see a good stop, even on a little puppy, and I really like their heads, and they're just starting to hear, and also we think their eyes are going to be opening pretty soon. But this is the firstborn. This is a Teo, and his white actually comes, the white is longer, the hair is longer than the body color, and it actually does come across here on his show side, and he looks... We called him from the beginning Rico Jr. He looks a lot like Rico, but he has a little bit more white here. So he's a very nicely marked puppy. He's got great balance. Okay, so now we're going to put him down and move on to Jake Sully. They've moved all around now, so I've got to... Let me make sure this is Jake. Okay. This is Jake Sully. He's the second-born, black tri-male. He has almost a matching front. Looks pretty close to me. I'm going to turn him around. He has a nice collar, show side. That's my phone ringing. I'll turn my phone off so we don't get disturbed again. Okay, back to Jake Sully. Again, he's got his feet are almost matching, and he reminds us a lot of Rico too. He has about the amount of white that Rico had on his face at this age. His nose is turning in. If you look from the side, he has a great stop. He has a nice broad top skull where his ears come down. He's going to have a beautiful head. All these puppies were really lucky. They've got really nice heads. And he's got a nice, good show collar. And a good white front, white chest, white on the abdomen. The same as a Teo. And... they get a lot of kisses here, and they love it too, if you can see. And he also has copper. He doesn't have quite as much as some of the other ones, but their copper, especially on the black tris, it's hard to see. They all have a deep, rich copper, like Rico the sire, and like Beyonce the mother. They do not have the lighter colored, not that that's there's anything wrong with the lighter color, but they have the deep, rich copper. And that'll really start to come in here pretty soon in the next few weeks. The copper will show. They're just starting to walk. So now we're looking for Parker. And they've got themselves all twisted and moved around. Okay, this is Parker. Parker has a darker face. I can see with the copper, he's going to have a very striking face. He doesn't have quite as much white as the other two boys. On the show side, the left side, his white goes up right about to his elbow, and then on the non-show side to the paw. Let me turn him around. He has a small white collar. Again, the white grows longer, so this will actually look bigger as he ages. The white fur is longer than the body color. So, and it does go all the way around to the non-show side and all the way around to the show side. He also has a beautiful white chest and a white belly, and his rear legs are pretty close to matching. He's another puppy that if you look at him, his balance and bone, his leg to size is perfect. You don't want to see little teeny tiny legs, nor do you want to see a puppy with no head or no balance. And these are heavy puppies. When they are weighing close to 3 pounds now, and they've got great structure, they've got great balance. He really has a really beautiful face. He's going to be a little bit darker, a little more striking look in the face. And I've mentioned this before on my website in some of my videos, that some people prefer an all-white front and some people prefer a little bit more variation. It just is a personal preference. I've seen in the show ring, Rico's done fabulous and he does not have a full white front. So it's just a matter of personal preference. This pup is not as flashy as the other puppies, but he's got a really beautiful head and he's very striking, and it's very difficult to judge size based on the size or weight of the puppy. But what you can look at is their bone compared, like their head and their feet, and this puppy has a lot of bone. I think this puppy is going to tend to be a little bit on the bigger side. So let me give him a kiss. Again, this is Parker, and we're doing him in order of birth. And they love kisses. So now we have Grace. Grace is a big girl. Come here, Grace. Come here, Grace. Okay, here's Grace. She is a little bit like Parker. She's got striking copper. She's got a striking face. On her show side, she has a full white leg, and on the non-show side, she has white up to the paw. Her rear legs, our feet are almost matching. It's very, very close. She's already getting copper on her legs. In the back, she has her show collar comes down and goes across to the non-show side, and then it does stop, and there's a small area where it doesn't come together, but as this grows in and gets longer, like as a show prospect, she's going to look like she has a full collar. This would actually look like a full collar. I really like her bone and balance. What I like about her too is the face. She's also got a nice stop. She's got a very well developed head. And if you look back on the first litter, same cross, same sire and dam, was the Breaking Dawn litter, and Bella was one of the puppies that had a darker face, just absolutely gorgeous. Very, very striking face. And again, it can be personal preference. If you like to see the copper and the striking face, or you like a lot of white, both are beautiful and very striking in their own way. So she's another very pretty little pup. Her nose is almost completely filled in. And wherever you see the pink, it will be white and then black where appropriate. Let me give little Grace a kiss. Oh, Grace. And she's a very sweet girl. She likes to get lots of love. Okay, the next one up is Awa. And again, in order of birth, we're keeping this puppy. And I thought that I would share with you a little bit about why we're keeping her. We're actually going to be calling her Gypsy, and so we'll update that on the website. She does have the full white front. This litter and this little pup is a half-sister to our IndigoMoon's Midnight Star, Mira. Mira has very little white on her, but Mira has done just amazing for as young as she is. She's almost finished. She goes back out for one more weekend, and we hope to finish her this year. She's undefeated. Mira is undefeated in best puppy competitions. So I was looking in this litter. I already had, if you want to call it a plain, not a lot of white, but just a very striking face and a very, very expressive little bitch, Mira. So this girl, who we're calling Gypsy, she reminds me a lot of Edward, except in the female form. She's got quite a bit of white, and if we turn her around here, you can see that she's got a full white collar all the way on the non-show side, and then on the show side she has this little pattern mark, and this comes from Beyonce, and this is common to see in Beyonce's puppies. We had quite a bit of that in the last litter, and I'm seeing it again. Her rear feet, if you can see those, are matching. They come to almost a little V, and she's another puppy that when you look at her and hold her up, you can feel how solid she is. She's got a lot of balance. Her head, she's got a great stop. She's got a beautiful head, great top skull. I like to see a nice wide top skull, ears down like that. That tells me I'm going to get a good head. And these lines are stamped with pretty good heads. Her nose is starting to fill in. It hasn't quite filled in as much as some of the other puppies. And the copper is not showing as well on her as some of the darker faced ones, but they all have beautiful, rich, deep copper. Huh, Gypsy. And she's a snuggler. Huh. And actually Parker and Jake are both snugglers too. Okay, so next we have Sute, and there's a little bit of issues in how to pronounce his name, but it's actually pronounced Sute. And this is Sute. And as you can see, naming these the Avatar litter, there's like 4 of them that look the same with quite a bit of white, and then 4 of them that are the darker faced. Again, he is a male, and he has that very striking, all that white. He has full white front. He has a little bit of black, so on the show side, his white stops just before it comes up to, all the way up to the withers, and on the non-show side, it's completely white all the way up. I'm going to turn him around because he's really, really a pretty boy. He has a huge white collar, and he's almost got as much white. If you look at Edward, Edward's white came to this point, which is pretty much to the line of what's allowed to the withers, and you always lift up the white to see where it goes because, again, the white fur is longer. So he is going to resemble Edward in terms of marking. In his rear, he's not quite matched his rear feet. His non-show side has a little bit more white, but it's just slightly discernible. It's very, very close. This is another puppy. If you look, you can see a definite stop, a good blocky head, great top skull here, and he's full of it. This guy's a mover and a shaker. He's a nice, really, really good, balanced, very solid puppy. And he's one of the more noisy ones. If he's hungry, everybody knows about it. He's the one that I check 100 times with the flashlight at night because he won't be quiet. Right, Sute? Right? And Sute is a warrior from James Cameron's Avatar movie, and I would say that fits his personality. He's definitely a little warrior, and he gets what he wants. Next we have Thanator, another full white marked puppy. On the show side, the white on the leg stops just below the elbow, and then on the non-show side it goes much further up. But as you can see, again, we have that full white face. I'm going to turn him around. Beautiful full white collar, comes almost to the withers, both on the show side, the non-show side. On his non-show side, if you look at his ear, you have to watch the ears, but he has black leather and black underneath. So that means the white will get smaller and smaller, and he may have some white on his ear. It's acceptable as long as we see color around the ear and color on the inside, because a fully white ear, just like an eye not surrounded by color, can be indicative of issues, hearing or vision issues, but not with this puppy. His rear feet, you can see they are matching, and he's another very solid boy. Great, great, great head, great stop. His nose is starting to fill in, and he is probably, as you can see, he's moving around. In personality, I would say right now, and they're only 10 days old, he's the most like Edward. He's another noisy one. As you can see, he's already shifting and fighting. You stop that. You stop that, Thanator. Thanator is like a big creature that is originally mean, but actually helps save the people. So he's a good monster boy. So he needs a home that wants a puppy and a dog that everybody's going to notice, and he's always going to get your attention, because that's just the way the world kind of revolves around Thanator. He's very much like Edward. Last but not least, we have Moat. I absolutely love this little bitch's face. From the moment she was born, I just fell in love with that face. The way her head is, the shape of her face, the stop, and she's a little bit smaller right here in the snout than some of them. She's still got a good broad top skull. She has on her show side, she's not as flashy with the white. She has a white paw on the show side. She has almost matching rear. And on the non-show side, white about up to the elbow. She is one of the few that does not have the white that comes from the face into the collar. There's a break. She's a lot. This pup reminds me the most of Mira, which I talked about earlier. She has got great copper points, very symmetrical markings on the face, and there's just something that I just, from the moment I saw her, in fact, I was very tempted to keep her. She's got a small white collar. It goes around to the show side. Again, this will come in longer, so she'll have a decent collar, but she doesn't have the white that some of the other girls have. But she's too much like Mira, and I wanted something a little bit different. But she is one of my favorites of the two girls as far as flash or sparkle, even though she's not marked with as much white as Grace. There's just something, and she is just a sweetheart. We'll see if she'll snuggle up to me. Give me kisses. A lot. Give me kisses. Give me kisses. Can you see her kissing me? Give me kisses. And she'll also be a baby. Be a baby. Come on, let's show everybody how you be a baby. There her goes. There her goes. Be a baby. Be a baby. Oh. Be a baby. There you go. There you go. She's must know she's on camera, because usually when I do this, she just loves it. And look at that beautiful broad chest. this is going to be an outstanding little bitch. This is a very nice litter. They're very consistent, but they're consistent. They either favor Edward and Rico, or they seem to favor Mira. There's a baby. There's a baby. I can't say that who is the smartest. I can only say who's the loudest right now. And they all pretty much enjoy being handled. Huh. And it was a tough pick. I like the boys. I like everybody for a different reason. Again, we made our selection. This is Awa, who is going to be called Gypsy, just because we love Edward, we love his neck and the white that he has, and we don't have a black tri-female that way, so we wanted to go ahead, so we've chosen to keep her, and I'm sure we won't change our mind. This is Beyonce's second litter, and due to the timing of her coming in season, we did a back-to-back breeding, but I don't know that we'll breed her again. I am very particular on breeding females and what age. I don't like to see them bred too young before they're mature enough to handle a litter, and Beyonce's just a fabulous mom. She's at the perfect age, and we may consider a year from now one more litter, but we would probably use a different sire. So this is very likely the last cross between Beyonce and Rico, and I could not be more thrilled. These are some of the most beautiful, balanced, gorgeous head puppies that I've seen or had. I mean, they're just, you look at one to the other and the comparison is just so hard. They're already showing their pedigree. They're just flashy, classy. They've got it all. Oh, and she says, I'm tired. Say goodnight. If it was Grace, I could say goodnight, Grace. But it's not. It's Awa, also known as Gypsy. Thanks for watching IndigoMoon Aussies. Again, this is the Avatar litter, and we hope you enjoy the film. Thanks.